Hey everybody, happy Homebrew Wednesday. It's Brad here at Wild Boys Brewery. What I got going on today is Brew Day. I'm brewing my Pooka's NC. This is my version 2 of it. And using the same grain bill and using some different hops. Checking out those mosaic hops. So spin around here and I'll read you the recipe. Okay, there's the grains. And you've already seen these from the previous video, but if you hadn't watched them, I'll just show them to you again. It's Cascade, Mosaic, Citra, and Mosaic again. And what we got going on is it is 3.5 pounds of Canadian malting Canadian 2-row, 3.5 pounds of Cargill Special Pale, 3.5 pounds of Great Western Pale, and that's 10.5 pounds of base malt. Then 1 pound of Karastan, which is Crystal 34, and then a 1/4 pound of Carapils for head retention. So a total of 11.75 pounds of grain. And then the hop schedule, we're going to do a 60-minute boil. Going to do 1/2 ounce each of Cascade and Mosaic at 60, a 1/4 ounce each of Cascade and Mosaic at 30, another 1/4 ounce each of Cascade and Mosaic at 10, and then at flame out we're going to do 1 ounce each of Citra and Mosaic, and we're going to whirlpool these for 20 minutes. And basically whirlpooling is just turning off your heat, steeping grains for 20 minutes, keeping it above 180 degrees. And what this does, imparts a lot of flavor and aroma from the hops to your beer without adding very much bittering. And what we wound up with was, it was like 50 IBUs, which really isn't that strong considering all the hops. These are really high alpha hops. The Mosaic is 12.7, the Citra is 14.1, and the Cascade 6.2. Then we're doing a 1 smack pack of 1272 American L2 done into a 2-liter starter. I did that last night about 1 o'clock. What I do is I use a ratio of 1 to 10 or 10 to 1, however you want to look at it. It's basically 1 gram of dried malt extract per 10 milliliters of water. So I do 200 grams of dried malt extract into 2 liters of water, and then I put the smack pack in on top of it. Start at 12 to 18 hours prior to pitching it, so it's a high krausen. You can see it's pretty much there now. It's got some a little bit of krausen ring going around the top of it there. And I don't do a stir plate. I'd like to have one. I just haven't added it to the equipments yet. Hasn't been in the budget, so basically I do it in a 1 gallon growler, or I've got a tea jug I use. This was a little more handy last night, so I just use that. And just every so often go over there and give it a whirl, get the yeast back in suspension, and they do just fine. And those are the growlers that I had my hard apple cider in, which I racked over to secondary yesterday, and I'll show you some of that here in a minute. I've got about 2 minutes left, and then we're going to do a mash in. I'm heating up the mash tun right now. It's already got the hot water in it. Do a 15-minute preheat, and then I put my grains in, stirred in, dough in, and then I've got my sparge out water and mash out water in those pots over there heating up. And I'll be back when I've got something else to show you. Okay, here's the mash in. Mashing in at 152. I took several different probe temperature readings, various places during the in the mash bed and our grain bed, and it's bouncing somewhere between 152 and 152.5. So that's perfect. Let's go ahead and close this up, and we will do our 1 hour mash. Alright, here's 7 gallons collected. I've got my probe thermometer stuck in the side there, and we are on 167.3, and I've got the alarm set to go off at 2:10, so if I'm not around here for some reason, I'll know it's getting ready to come to a boil, and I'll be here for the hot break. And I also have my spray bottle here, because once you get up to about 7 gallons in a pot this big and heavy, you're not going to be picking this thing up to get it off the eye to cool it down if you come to a hot break that's boiling over. And there's so much volume there that basically turning down the heat is not going to do much good, so you need to have your spray bottle handy. And there it is. And also here's my Whirlflock tablets and my Y yeast nutrient. And there's a 1/4 teaspoon of the yeast nutrient goes in at the last 15 minutes, or last 20, and then I put the Whirlflock in at the last 10. Okay, I got my hop drops separated out. This is going to be the 6-minute drop. It's ½ ounce each of Mosaic and Cascade. And then there's the 30 drop, and that's a 1/4 ounce of each Mosaic and Cascade. And then there's the 15-20 minute drop of the Whirl Flock tablet and the yeast nutrient. And I've got it in a cup here so I can get some wort out, put it in there and dissolve it, and put it in the brew pot. That way you make sure everything gets dissolved good. And then here's the 10-minute drop of 1/4 ounce each of Cascade Mosaic. And then got the Whirlpool Editions, 1 ounce of Citra and 1 ounce of Mosaic. And then I will, once I do flame out, I will put these in. Go ahead and put the wort chiller in first so it sterilizes, and then we whirlpool for 20 minutes with this, and then start the cool down to get the cold break. And here's another shot of the brew pot. See we're up to 182.183, so we're on our way to a hot break. Okay, we're up to a boil now. Got the timer set on 30 minutes, and in go the ½ ounce Mosaic, ½ ounce Cascade. Give this thing a stir. Alright. I'm going to start the timer. And then we will do another drop at 30 minutes. Okay, here's 30-minute drop. 1/4 ounce of Mosaic and Cascade. And I put 10 minutes on the timer, so at 20 I'm going to do my Whirl Flock and yeast nutrient. Fire it back up. Alright, it's time for the last boil drop. There's another 1/4 ounce each of Cascade and Mosaic. Let's give this baby a stir. There we go. 10 more minutes on the timer. And then we will flame out and whirlpool for 20 minutes with 1 ounce each of Mosaic and Citra. Okay, flamed out, and here goes the ounce of Mosaic. It smells absolutely wonderful. These are some of the best smelling hops I've ever smelled. I ain't even kidding. Okay, and I'm going to have to put the camera down for just a second. And we're going to throw 1 ounce of Citra in. Okay. And these smell pretty damn awesome too. Get these stirred in good. And like I say, this is whirlpooling flame out additions for 20 minutes. I'll come back over and stir this about every 5 minutes, make sure it stays good and agitated. And then at 20 minutes, I will turn on the wort chiller, cool it down, and take a gravity reading. Alright, we hit 10:49 at 68 degrees, so it's probably around 1050, which is about, I think 1051 is what, about 75%, so we're pretty much right on the money. I'll run it through the correction calculator and then post that up after get done, but you can see what it looks like here. Very nice clear beer, copper amber color. And that wraps up this brew day. Cheers. And now we have sounds of happiness. The sounds of successful fermentation. Here's the cider sitting beside of it. There's two back here with the caps on them. Have already put the potassium in them. I got to get by the grocery store and get that concentrate, that pineapple orange juice, so I can put it in this one. And I think I'm going to do this one sparkling. So once I put that other concentrate in there and back sweeten it, I'm going to go ahead and bottle this. And I'm going to just leave these in the 1 gallon containers to clear up. Looks like they're already clearing up pretty good. And this is the Pooka's Pale Ale version 2, the one with the mosaic hops, mosaic cascade throughout, 60, 30, 10, and then at flame out I did mosaic and citra, 1 ounce each. And this is about 10 o'clock the next day. It's been about 12 hours since I pitched the yeast or so, and this baby's kicked in real good. And I don't use airlocks on primaries. This one hasn't started coming out yet, but you can see the lid's kind of swelled up already. And so they're, if you really want to see it, you can see how it's bowed up right there. See how the top of the lid's not straight, it's kind of domed. Had a lot of issues with blow-offs, so I just quit using airlocks on primary altogether, and I'll use them on secondary, but on primary they get a blow-off tube. But anyway, that's the cider, and then still haven't bottled up the Imperial Pumpkin Ale, so I'm going to get on that. Definitely, you can see this thing's got yeast growing on the side of it here. It's completely fermented out. There's no any type of activity on top at all. And see, it's got airlock on it. We'll get that one bottled up and drinking on it in probably a couple weeks, and I'll let you know how it turned out. And here we are, almost 24 hours later. You can see the blow-off tube has crap in it. Looks like most of it's stopping in the tube. The growlers are looking a little milky. Looks like a little's went through, but this is why I did not put airlocks on primary. You can see we got some crap coming through. And that's what happens. You see it almost stopped up the hose and it shot it on through. See right there's a big old booker. And if you have your airlock on there and it does this and it stops up your airlock, then it winds up blowing the lid off your bucket. That's going to wrap it up. That's what I got going on for this week. Hope you guys have a good one. Happy Homebrew Wednesday, and I will see you later. Cheers.